All right, y'all. How you doing?
Hey guys.
I'm AJ.
And I'm D.
And today we are going to be talking about Sickle Cell Awareness Month. And you know what? We have our own, very own ambassador for Sickle Cell Awareness Month. So, welcome, DeAndre Benz. He's not D right now. He is DeAndre Benz right now. And today we're going to be talking to him about Sickle Cell Awareness. For Sickle Cell Awareness Month. So, we're going to ask him some questions. He's going to answer a lot of questions that I think most of us want to know. I mean, I hear people ask questions all the time, and I don't really know. That's something I've never had to deal with. I do know that it can be hard on those who are dealing with that. And I think that it'd be a really, really good subject. I really think that when we came up with this, I was like, wow. I think we both were like, oh, that's a great idea, you know.
And this Sickle Cell Awareness Month.
Absolutely, yeah. So, just to do a little starter, for all of those of you who don't know, sickle cell is an inherited blood disease that causes blood cells to turn from soft form from soft round shape to firm sickle form. That's where the name sickle cell comes from when they were looking in their binoculars and stuff back in the day and decide what to call it. But now that y'all have the definition, we are going to go ahead and do our daily, how was your weekend? So what's going on? What'd you do?
My weekend was really good. Actually,
professional
thank
style.
you. Thank you. And it's so funny that we're talking about sickle cells because the last 2 days I was pretty much down for the count because I wasn't feeling good, and I don't know. I think it was just a combination of like stress and being tired and so, but for the most part, my weekend was not as eventful as the past weekends.
Mm-hmm.
So I just rested. I took it easy. I made it all about me, just resting and making sure that I took care of me and rejuvenated myself with lots of water and just rest, because even though I don't think it was sickle cell related, I just think my body just needed a moment to just have a second just to regroup.
Yeah.
So all in all, my weekend was good. Just
did
restful.
You party at all, or?
I did go out one night, but I don't think that has anything to do with this because I like to be doing things, and I'm not ever one of those patients, and no disrespect to those other patients who have sickle cell, that whine or complain about being in pain. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, we gonna get to that.
Okay.
I'm talking about what you do. Did you have fun this week?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I had a weekend. I did have a weekend.
Okay. We gonna get to we gonna figure out whether he should be partying as much as he's doing or not. But I just want to know, did you enjoy yourself?
I did, and I want to just put this on record to say that this is water in this cup.
And
this cup is water.
Tonight he concerned about what he drinking. Okay. So.
What about you? Did you have a good weekend?
I did have a good weekend. Well, like I said, I think I told you the other day. I went to Disney.
Ooh, how was that?
Disney was fun.
Did you ride the ride? Did you go?
I did ride the ride. I went to Animal Kingdom and Magical Kingdom. And I just went to we just went to see the fireworks. That's all. We just drove out to see the fireworks.
You didn't go in the park?
No. We went around the park just to see the fireworks. I went to the castle.
That's something to do. Like that. I never think about stuff like that to do because I'm in this whole it's off topic, but at this point in my life I want to do other things besides go to the club. So right. That sounds. So you didn't go to the park. You just went to.
And then you got a good hottie patati with you. That's even better. I didn't have that. But I mean,
I might have one this weekend.
Shout out Tasha and Chris. That was wonderful. Thank you guys for doing that for me. I had fun. Like I said, that's something you don't do all the time.
Right.
So when you get a chance to do something like that,
but you don't ever think to go to this.
Right.
People go to Disney and go, but we live here and we live so close to Disney.
Right.
We never think just to let's take a drive down there. Excuse me, and go and just watch fireworks. Not even go into the park, but just go park the cars or find a park over there to sit down and watch fireworks. Find a park, watch the fireworks, or just
maybe, scope out trade, whatever.
Not Disney trade, honey.
There's so many things you can do that's free. Like, scoping up trade is so free.
Right.
Like, ooh. Okay. Y'all know I'm a little bit messy. Okay, so.
Adriana.
So I want to start off by taking you way back. So
Okay.
we want to go way back before we give you the key to the city.
Okay.
I want to talk about how old were you when you first were diagnosed with sickle cell?
I was 5 months old.
5 months old.
Yes, when my mom was told by the doctor that I had sickle cell, and then she was also told at that point in time that I wouldn't live to be, I think I was like 3. So, yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, I'm just reading something over here, y'all. So did something happen to make her take you to the doctor or what?
Well, I don't know what happened up until that point, but I believe I had gotten sick, and I do know there's a story that one time, I grew up in Washington State, along with California, but
right,
she's a world-class hoe. But I grew up in Washington State where I was born, and my mom was told by the doctor that at 5 months old, that I was not going to live to be 3 years old. So my mom talked to my grandparents, who then told her, no, you need to get a second opinion. And she did, and here I am. But to be told that your son won't live to be 3 and only 5 months old, I've swallowed my tongue, I've had a seizure, I've had 2 strokes, and I mean, you look at me and you think like nothing wrong, but as we go along, I'll tell you more about the sickle cell struggle that I had, but yeah.
So what is, you know what, I was going to move on to something else, but what is it like to swallow your tongue? What is that? What does that mean?
Well, I don't remember. All I remember is just there's people around, and my mom, when she tells me the story, that some guy at the time who lived next door to us, he came and got a spoon and put the spoon down my mouth and pulled my tongue out. Which, when I think about it, is crazy, because I'm a little boy, and then to hear that I never met this man, I would love to meet him, but I don't know if he's even still alive, but to hear that, had he not been there, who knows, I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now, or,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what? Angels come in all different shapes.
I believe that. I believe that.
Whether you're religious, non-religious, whatever you do, angels, there are times when you look back on your life and you say, but for that time, but for that person, but for that car I did not get in.
Exactly.
That
has happened to me so many times. Like, yeah.
Like that's amazing. I think that's beautiful. I think something that I know I've wondered before, I actually, in full disclosure, my sister, she has what's called the sickle cell trait. And so you hear these terms, but if you're living your life and you're not dealing with that kind of thing, you don't really look it up or whatever.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, what is the difference between sickle cell and sickle cell anemia?
Well, I have sickle cell anemia, the disease.
That's okay.
So the disease, is, how do I say, my red blood cells, people like your red blood cells are regular shape, but people who have sickle cell disease, they have crescent moon shaped blood cells. So those crescent moon shaped blood cells block the normal blood cells from getting through the bloodstream, causing lack of oxygen, causing us to have pain. So there's sickle cell anemia, the disease, which my sister and I both have. My sister Cameron, and she has a less severe case of it. And then my sister Monet, she has the trait, which is just basically, she's tired most of the time. Not to be like funny, but tired. Like she's like, weary, like that. But
yeah.
So yeah, and then there's sickle cell beta thalassemia, which I'm not too familiar about that. But for the longest time, growing up in California, I went to a sickle cell camp for about 10 years. And to me, that's one thing that will always forever be in my heart, because of the fact that this camp was a big camp in California. And there were probably about 3 Hispanic kids. but everyone there had sickle cell. And so when somebody got sick, or if you hear somebody crying and screaming, you knew that they were having a crisis.
Right.
And so it was just a camp for people that were dealing with sickle cell to go to and come together. We had counselors. We had, this is back in the day, you know, when I used to camp in the woods, honey. We had cabins and stuff. And so that's one thing that will always forever be like a memory in my heart, the sickle cell camp that I went to, that I wish, honestly, Florida had something like this. Because like that for people with sickle cell. Because I've met some other people that live here that have sickle cell. And unfortunately, they don't get the care. They don't have the great care that myself or some other patients have with sickle cell, because of the fact that, you know, a lot of people aren't educated or familiar with sickle cell disease. So,
right.
You know, I know at one point in time, my sister, she was a counselor. I think she went to Atlanta, and she was a counselor. She got sick, and so they have a special facility for people with sickle cell in Atlanta. But you know, Atlanta's predominantly black. So, but
the city
of
Atlanta,
yeah, city, yeah. So, yeah, I just wish that there was more. I mean, I'm so grateful and blessed that I've lived the life that I lived and that I'm still here. I mean, I do things that I probably shouldn't do, but, you know, I don't want that, me living with sickle cell, to ever be a deterrent or to be an excuse for me to be like, you shouldn't be doing that, DeAndre. You shouldn't be doing that, you know, because, yeah.
Well, that was good.
Hey, Andy.
Yeah. How you doing, Andy? How are you? My next question to you is something that I've heard many times, and I know that other people have heard it too. Mm-hmm. And so I think that this would be a great time for just to tell us what this is. What is a pain crisis?
Okay. A pain crisis is pretty much when a person with sickle cell, they, you know, have pain in their back, legs. Lately, the last time, thank God I haven't been in the hospital in a hot minute, but the last time I was sick, I had it in my back and my head, like the front of your head. So just like this excruciating pain. And I can only speak for myself, but the way to describe it is like throbbing, stabbing, like pain, constant pain. And, you know, I can't speak for the sickle cell community as a whole. I can only speak as my experience. When I have experienced a pain crisis, I'm really the kind of person, I try to wait till the last minute. Not last minute, but I take my medication that I'm prescribed from my doctor to see if that works. If not, you know, I could fluids, water, heating pad. But the sickle cell pain crisis is just when a sickler, someone with sickle cell, is going into pain. And they call it pain crisis because it's in your back, your legs. It could be in your stomach, your head. It's a lot of places.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it's excruciating.
You feel like stabbing pains in your back?
Yes, it's stabbing. It's like, I can't even, like, stabbing might even be putting it lightly, but it's like a pain that's like, you don't wish on anybody, because it's just like, I think about the time when before I got my gallbladder taken out, I used to have this pain in my stomach, and I used to like take deep breaths, and even when I couldn't take more deep breaths, like I start crying because the pain was like so bad, and I just wanted somebody to like just do something, but they couldn't. Like they tell you to count to 10, take deep breaths, but you can't take deep breaths because someone with sickle cell, your oxygen is already low, so you want to try to save your breath for, you know, to keep your oxygen at a steady pace. So everybody is different, and it varies as far as the sickle cell is concerned.
You know, I want to, you know, I'm going to backtrack a little bit because I was thinking about something as you were talking. So when you have, so of course, we know that sickle cell, the name for sickle cell, came about because of the sickle form that happens to the red blood cells. Is it the lack? It's the lack of oxygen that we're getting to.
Yeah, the lack of oxygen.
So that makes it sickle shaped.
Exactly.
So does it make it harder to breathe?
For some, yeah, like I just said, for most patients, it does make it hard to breathe. When they tell us when we go into the ER to, you know, take small, deep breaths, you know, because a lot of my experience and some of the friends that I have sickle cell, they're like, and the doctors and the nurses are like, you gotta breathe, you gotta lower your breathing because as it is, your breathing is already affected. So the doctors and the nurses are always like, okay, DeAndre, you gotta breathe slow, deep breaths. Because, I've had times I'm in the hospital ER and I'm like, and it's just like, but our oxygen is already.
Relax all your muscles.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, I understand that.
Hey, Coach Good.
Do we have any questions?
So far, no. Everyone's giving hearts and liking.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Hey, Chris Rios, if he's still here.
Everyone. Next question. What are some symptoms that alert you to a pain crisis? Like what are the things that you may be like you're just staying around or hanging out or doing something and you're like, something don't feel right. Like what are those like things?
Well, I'm speaking for myself and my experience with my little sister who also has sickle cell, but I'm not speaking as for the community, but I'm just speaking for myself and my experience. But for me, and I think, I will say this for the community, we do have to keep our stress level down. So we're not supposed to have stress. Warm weather helps to keep us, out of crisis. Cold weather is not really good for us, but weather change. It could be either too hot or too cold. Stress, the weather, it just all depends. We are told to keep our stress level at a minimal. So maybe that's not about me, because but
you know what? I was thinking that. I was like,
with that stress, I did. No, I'm kidding. No.
But you will have some stress.
No. But I just honestly, I try to keep my stress level down. They do say high altitude, when we fly, but I've flown a lot, and I have been places, that I needed to take an airplane, so. The high altitude really didn't really bother me. I make sure I stayed medicated, and if I know I have a flight, I have to, drink lots of water. We are told to drink 8 to 10 glasses of water a day to keep, hydrated and our blood kind of regular, if you will.
Okay. I do think that would be a good way to end all arguments in a relationship, though. Like, you let him know from the beginning when you dating him. You say stress could kill me. So when he tell you no, you say you trying to kill me, nigga. And then,
I wish it was that easy. I one time in particular, I was dating a guy, and he saw me going into a crisis, and he didn't know what to do, but he was very helpful in the sense that, like, he made sure I got to the ER, and he made sure that I was comfortable while I was at home before I had to go to the ER. So he did what was needed to do.
That's wonderful. Where he at?
Well, he was. This is like a while. It was a long time.
Let's go get him. Because he sounds like a good man.
This is years ago. Years ago.
You be throwing good man in the trash and then be like, what?
I was younger too.
You wanted something else. Yeah, that's what happened. Okay, what is? Let's see. What triggers a pain crisis?
Again, stress. Stress is a big factor in what triggers a pain crisis. I try to live my life as less stressful as I can, and I don't get agitated easily. Stress, like I said, the weather. It can be a couple of things, but for me, stress, the weather. If I'm not hydrated and if I'm drinking enough water, I'm supposed to be drinking a lot more water than I do, which I do drink. I do drink water. I try to drink 2 of these a day. I try. Try to drink 2 of these. The when I go to see my hematologist, they are always on my case because I'm always walking in there with like a glass of tea, and they're like, "That don't like water to me." And I'm like, "I like."
Wow, it's wonderful. Well, I think we are supposed to drink 8 glasses of water. That's what the doctor say. But I don't think none of us like. I ain't even gonna ask y'all for y'all to lie. Anybody drink 8 glasses of water a day? What are some foods and activities that you should avoid?
Well,
if you are someone dealing with sickle cell.
Well, I don't eat pork because, and lately they've been stressing that our diet, which I've always been a healthy eater. I don't really eat red meat. I do eat baked chicken sometimes, and I eat fish. But for myself, I eat a lot of vegetables.
You said baked chicken?
Baked chicken.
Baked. Oh,
yeah, like baked. I love lemon pepper chicken. That's like I can't cook. But that's one thing I can cook. That's lemon pepper chicken. So not a lot of salt. Mm-hmm. I don't drink soda. My sister doesn't drink soda. I don't know a lot of sickle cell patients that do drink soda. I might have a Pepsi once in a while, but other than that, another thing I shouldn't be drinking that I probably drink is sweet tea. But I never drank sweet tea until I came to Florida, because in California, they don't have that. And when I've gone back for vacation to go back home,
they don't have sweet tea in California?
No, they have only unsweet tea. And so, I had just came back previously from California, and I was like, you have no sweet tea here? It's like, no, I can give you sugar packets. I'm like, so like the southern part of the Florida has any kind of southern, because I love that sweet tea in the morning. But yeah, no soda. I don't eat red meat or pork. We've gone out to dinner, and Vicky and everybody. I always get a salad, chicken. I'm not big on on meats and stuff like that. I do love Brussels sprouts, baked Brussels sprouts and stuff like that. That's me personally. But for the most part, I eat very healthy. Very healthy. The only thing I think that's unhealthy that I do is probably, if you ask another person who's dealing with sickle cell, I guess, is I drink socially, And I know that they say drinking isn't supposed to be, but after a night of drinking, I do make sure I hydrate with water, and, what I'm saying? So I do participate in socially drinking, but I do make sure I stay hydrated, drink water, take my meds. I don't know, my little sister, she doesn't drink either, but when she does drink, she'll like a beer. But last time she had a few beers, she ended up sick and in the hospital. So it's so weird that, here I am. I can do shots, tequila, I can do whatever and be okay. But here my sister is, she can't even drink really anything, and if she does, she gets a mini crisis, or it affects her.
Cameron, I'm so sorry you're telling all your business.
Well, no, my sister said, my sister would tell you 1 year for Sickle Cell Awareness Month. Her and I did a video, and honestly, like I said, no disrespect to anyone who has sickle cell that has to deal with it in a different way that we don't, but we just stay positive. My sister once said that it's all in the way of your thinking too. Her and I are both positive people. We both try to stay busy. She works, I work. We don't work as, breaking our backs, 200 hours a week. But we make sure we stay busy and we stay positive, and that our thinking about life is always uplifting, Because if we're always thinking, oh, I'm hurting and I'm down, whatever, that's not beneficial to our well-being.
I agree. I agree. For all of you guys who are not being spoken to, or probably on my page, I'm not able to scroll. So whatever comments you may have, just leave them, and I will definitely, I promise, I will respond.
Can you not?
No, I just looked. I don't know what's going on.
Or they go on my page.
Yeah, but if I will definitely respond. Here's the question I wanted to get to. I wanted to get to this, but I was gonna skip over to get to this, but I ain't. I was like, nah. I want to know. You found it? Okay, boom.
Can you share that?
I want to know how has this diagnosis affected your dating life? And you know what? This is different. This is not just for you. And I know you said you're not speaking for other people, but you are our ambassador, and you're a male. But we also have women who have sickle cell, and women have babies.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot that goes into that. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Wait, sorry, how does it affect my dating life?
Yeah, dating/family. Yeah.
Well, right now, my lack thereof, honey. Just kidding. I joke about it because right now I'm at a point where I want to start dating. So I'm putting it out there into the universe that I am open to dates. But you know, I have read and seen, and I have friends that have gotten married. They have kids. You know what I'm saying? But for myself personally, I I have read other stories and books that say people have sickle cell. They've told the person in the beginning about their sickle cell, which kudos to them. But I think that's the kind of a thing in due time. Like especially on the first date, I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, I have sickle cell. You know, I'm not gonna disclose that on the first date because that's just not a proper etiquette in my opinion. You know, in due time, I would tell them, or obviously if they saw my eyes, or if they see that like a, you know, I have jaundice.
Became a conversation.
If it became a conversation, I would disclose it. But it's not really a big thing. It doesn't stop me from doing anything. I've lived the best life that I can. I try to do everything that I can do to my best ability. And, you know, I just think that, I guess in the past, when I've dated, you know, I was a bit younger, so it was different. You know, I still have a lot of energy. But I think that back then it wasn't like too much of a big thing because I was, you know, in school, I was going out, I was working, and I was just staying busy. So it wasn't a big thing, and it wasn't a big conversation. Except for the guy, like I told you, that when I got sick, he was at my house, and he didn't know what to do, but I let him know, like, a few days before we went hung out. That, you know, I have sickle cell, whatever, and stuff like that. But I didn't deter me because I was out at the club and we were hanging out. So yeah, he didn't really, you know, but he made sure that when I went into my crisis, that he was very helpful. He made, you know, got me to the ER and everything like that. But it doesn't really affect. Now, if I was to have kids, that's another story because they say that, you know, you want to make sure that your, I guess, a chromosome or something like that. Make sure that it's because if two people have a kid and they get a child with sickle cell, the genes, because sickle cell trait, it all varies.
I believe they say something to like, I don't want to eat, I don't, because I'm not, you know, but I have heard like if dad has a trait and mom has a trait,
right,
and the baby will have.
Yeah, my mom has a trait, and then my father, who I don't really, he passed away, but he had I think he had the trait too. So since my mom had the trait and he had the trait, they had obviously me, and I have sickle cell disease.
Yeah.
And then my second sister, has a disease, and then my other one has just the trait. So yeah, but I think that's when it gets more complicated. When, but how you know I'm not getting married, and so I don't plan on having kids.
What do you think about this? Because you know what, I mean, I think that people, you know, people say this in the hospital anyway. People in like medicine say this, but do you think that we should, like, as a community, as a people, like not even a gay community or just or whatever community, do you think that we just as a people should like look at like should investigate each other's medical histories when we are dating, when we start dating, just start sleeping together and things like that? Do you think that's important?
I think so. Well, I mean, I think yeah, because I think maybe most of us do that now, you know, with like all those other STDs that are out there and stuff like that. But as far as like sickle cell, yeah, I think it's important because you know, like it's important, and like, you know, I remember one time. I mean, back in the day, I did it a lot, you know. And one guy, I did, I did, believe it or not. No. I did it a lot, and so one guy, he was like, "Why are you always so tired?" And I'm just like, "I'm tired because like I'm working, you know what I'm saying? I was in school." And then, like, I call myself trying to go out too, you know, and so, like, he was just like, I'm getting very tired. And I'm just like, I'm tired because I'm just doing everything that I need to do, you know. So he didn't understand, and so once I did tell him, you know, and I tell people, educate yourself, do your own research, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can tell you, but I always tell people about everything, even when, you know, the whole coronavirus too, do your own research and stuff like that, but as far as sickle cell is concerned, I tell them my experience, what I've been through, and like I said, my dating life right now is, but it's neither here or there. I haven't had to bring it up. So, I mean, a lot of people already know. A lot of my friends, I've made videos about it before, about sickle cell. I've made postings and everything. So people are aware, and I think more people are like, wait, you have sickle cell, but yeah, you're out here, like, you know what I'm saying? What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to just, like, lay around, wait to get sick, and complain. No, I'm not ever gonna live that kind of life. And I'm not. My mom will tell you, I've never been that kind of child to like. When I was sick, I never was like, even right before I was in my 20s, I think when I moved out of my mom's place, I would drive myself to the ER. Mm-hmm. Like my mom would be like, I'll take you. And I'm like, no, I don't want to bother her. I didn't want to inconvenience her in any way. So and my doctor, I go to only one specific hospital and doctor. Even though the hospital at the time was right across the street, I made that 30-minute drive in pain because I knew that's where I would get the best care. They wouldn't be giving me no hassles or accusing me of doing this and all, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of patients that, well, not a lot, some patients that are sickle cell patients, get accused of like, oh, they're just drug seekers like that. But that's not the case. This pain that we go through is so excruciating and so painful. No one can understand. But I'm thankful that over the years, especially since I've been here in Florida, the hospital I go to, they know me. My sister I say you got VIP status now because she can go in there and they don't, there's a whole protocol when you get sent to the back of the ER, your ARA breathing, something like that, ADC, something like that. But people with sickle cell, when I first moved to Florida, I had to wait in the waiting room and just be waiting, until they called everybody else who was priority. But now, lately, I've been sick, but I just go straight back, and it's a good thing.
Wonderful. That don't Debrisha. I don't know. I think we haven't met yet, so I think I might come out tonight and meet you. Thank you for offering. I just happened to see that out of a glance on over there. We'll see. Oh, you going out tonight?
I don't know, girl. We're filming.
Okay.
It's in.
All right. All right. Okay, you did mention it. And so my next question, y'all, we're almost done, so we're going to wrap up in just a moment. But my next question was, what is the yellow-green discolor that we see in a lot of people who have sickle cell or who are dealing with the crisis, who are dealing with this disorder, who we see it in your eyes. I see it in your eyes a lot of time. I ask you about it. Mm-hmm. What is that? I know it's called jaundice, mm-hmm. but why?
Why does it happen? Mm-hmm. Again, it's just partially a lack of oxygen. I mean, I don't feel sick, Yeah. But for me, that's why they say drink water, because the water will affect the way our eyes look, And I'm the first to admit I don't drink as much water as I should, but that partially has a lot to do with it. It's just part of having sickle cell. It's just a yellow discoloration of our eyes. Sometimes it's green. Like when I get really sick or I'm in the hospital, that discoloration in my eyes is like green, like a green, like gangrene. Like right now it's like.
You don't really see it on the camera so much.
No,
but a little bit.
Yeah, right now it's just kind of yellow. But I'm drinking water. What's the water?
All right. And so the last question on this forum I want to ask is about this topic. What are some places, or where are some websites or avenues or I don't know, programs that people who, let's say there's a mom out there who's listening to this, who's got a child who's going through something like this, or who's getting all of this information, where can she go?
Well, it's funny to say that because, I mean, again, everything that I do with sickle cell, I just, it's for me. But I have a friend who, her sister has a child who has sickle cell, and she reached out to me, and I just told her about some of the groups on Facebook. I directed her to my sister who knows some contacts in like Atlanta and other states that my sister knows about that I don't know about. But for me, I just always refer to like some of the groups on Facebook. So they have a Facebook sickle cell page, mm-hmm. and there's also, if you Google, there's all these other like listings of groups and support groups. But there's not enough, There's not enough, and mm-hmm. so I have even thought about starting one myself. But I just because of my schedule's already so like, but the Facebook. They have a sickle cell. They have an Instagram sickle cell page now. So it all right now everything's like related to social media.
Absolutely.
You know. So if you are somebody, you can always go to the sickle cell group on Facebook, and then if not, you can also find some groups on Instagram.
Absolutely. That is wonderful. So actually that wraps up the question and answer with our ambassador. Ambassador DeAndre Bims.
Well, I was gonna say thank you for thank you. I'm trying to,
Look at all good things.
Why is this single, honey?
Because that man who took care of you years and years ago, you left.
We were young.
Thinking there was other fish in the pond.
I want to say this too. Into the story about into the website in the beginning. The doctor telling my mom that I was not going to live to be 5 years old.
Yes.
And for those of you who know me, you know how old I am now.
It's amazing.
It's nothing but God, honey, and prayer, and God rest my grandpa's soul. But when he was alive, he was always praying over me and praying for me, and people still do that, pray for me and everything like that. But I just want everybody to know that I'm still trying to live my best life. I'm not perfect. I fall down. I make mistakes. But at the same time, I'm not going to be that person who is dealing with an illness and just be like, like I'm sick, I'm down for the count. Like, no, I'm still going to do my thing, work, and try to live my life the best that God allows me to do so. So I thank you for taking this time to interview me.
Come on, y'all.
September is Sickle Cell Awareness Month. So
where my likes? I want some likes and some love. Some more. I think that was wonderful. Thank you. So we're not gonna have a long show tonight, y'all. We wanted to talk about that. Do you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, I just thank you for tuning in, and September is Sickle Cell Awareness Month, and we're almost at the end of the month. But I just feel thankful for you guys that are tuning in, and that did not know about my fight with sickle cell. I'm thankful for you guys, wanting to know more and listen and learn, and thank you, AJ, for the Q&A. I enjoyed it, and hopefully people out there watching will take something away from this. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
So like I said, we're not going to have a long show tonight, but I did want to jump on one other subject before we convened for Sunday service. So it's something that's been on my heart lately, y'all, and I don't know. Like I'm sure maybe I'm just a serious person for the most part, but it's something that's been bothering me a little bit. We've seen so many like for the last several days now. I think it's been like 5 days, where a young girl, I can't even think of her name, but I'm surprised I don't know her name. She's a little Caucasian girl. She was killed. She went missing. Some guy, her boyfriend, she went on a trip with a boyfriend somewhere. She's in her 20s. She's an adult. She went on a trip, and they had flash. Or social media photos and videos of her having fun and everything. It was wonderful. Well, she goes missing. He comes back to Florida, and she's not with him. And so, they investigate. Now, y'all, I don't think I've been able to see a single TV station news for the last week. They didn't have this girl plastered all day long. CNN, Fox, MSNBC, local news. All you hear about this young girl. Every day, all day. And granted, I think that it's wonderful that we put so much emphasis on finding her and people like her. I would be remiss if I didn't say it's disappointing that you can look at that and make a complete contrast on how it is with other people. I think that we all are virtuous, and I think that the same helicopters And TikTok got in and helped find this girl. I think that we have to demand that we are all treated with the same virtuosity that we treat young white girls. They're not the only ones who are important, and when our children go missing, we want to find them too. Our little boys go missing, we want to find them too. We have Haitians at the border right now, y'all, who are running because they don't have food and water, and we're chasing them down on horseback. But we relegate a whole town of everything, and Martian divers and swamp divers and hell to find one girl. And I just think, and I feel like if her name was Nakila or Fatima, I don't see them doing it. I don't think that, and maybe I am feeling negative about it, but that's how I feel, and I think we must demand that, and that's going to be my serious soapbox of the week. I don't want to get political, but when it comes down to my people, I love you for real. I love all my people, and I want us to. We got to demand something. We got to ask for what we want. What you think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, but it's always been like that, sadly. And, you know, I want, I'm just like you, I want it to change, but is it going to change? You know, Caucasian male and females get, you know, that go missing more airtime, more attention than, you know, African Americans or Latinos, brown people. So you're not wrong in the way you feel.
So not trying to end on a bad note. Thank you guys for coming. Keep it in your mind. Ask for what you want. Demand respect. Demand your virtue. And thank the ambassador. Good night, y'all.
Night.